Alright, hello everyone. Back at it again with another video about New York 1 not covering the crime. And obviously it's one of the trials and tribulations that I'm going to have to deal with, knowing the fact that fleeing New York means I lose my circle of friends. But we have to stay on topic and talk about, yet again, New York 1, ignoring the issues. And it's just like News 12 Long Island. I know Pine Power LI did another video tonight, and he has every right to do it and complain about what's going on in Long Island. I have to complain about what's going on in Queens. And there's a lot we gotta get into. There's plenty we're going to talk about in this video. So let's just check the homepage of New York 1. And no, I'm not going to read the New York 1 article about the love triangle in Brooklyn. We'll get to that later. But we do have, yet again, another crime story that was ignored in Astoria by New York 1. So, because it doesn't appeal to New York 1's viewership, no, we're not going to send a reporter to Astoria to cover another crime story. Give me a break. I mean, enough about Rikers. Right? We know how bad it is. We know how bad Rikers Island is. We don't need to give excessive coverage on it. And you even go to the Queens section of New York 1's page. Where's the incident that took place on Friday? Nothing about it. Nothing about it. So let's get into it. Police searching for gun-toting cyclists who allegedly stalked a woman in Astoria. So here we go. Another story in Astoria that New York 1 ignored. Here we go. Let's read this. Police from the 114th Precinct in Astoria are looking for a stalker. During the early morning hours of Friday, October 8th, a 22-year-old woman was walking home from the Steinway Street Broadway subway station when an unidentified man on a bike approached her from behind and slapped her rear end. The suspect rode away on the bike while the victim continued walking home on Broadway. A few minutes later, when the victim arrived home in the vicinity of Broadway and Crescent Street, she saw the same man approaching her on his bike. This time, the suspect pulled a gun from her fanny pack while unsuccessfully attempting to remove property from the woman, who was able to run away from the man and call 911. The victim thankfully was not injured. Okay, so we do have a video of them. Let's see, they have a description. So, the 114 Precinct describes the suspect as a dark-skinned man, approximately 25 years old, around 5'10" and 180 pounds. He was last seen wearing glasses, a black t-shirt, dark-colored pants, tan work boots, and a dark-colored winter cap. So, I do apologize. My dad's using the restroom next door. He just sneezed. Bless you, Dad! So, that's going to happen on the fly. But there you go. As I mentioned, I keep talking about it. It just, New York 1 doesn't seem to get the message. Start covering the crime in Astoria. There's so many issues going on in Northwest Queens that are just getting ignored. I'm sick and tired of it. Honestly, Broadway and Crescent Street. I'm going to look this up. I'm going to walk score and look it up. Let's see. I'll look up the map. Oh yeah, I know exactly where this is. Crescent Street, right? You gotta be kidding me. Right where the Bel Air Diner is. Oh my god, not too far from where Bel Air Diner is. As soon as it said Broadway and Steinway, I know exactly where that was. I mean, what is happening in Astoria? I'm sorry for obsessing over it, but, again, I have very close ties to Astoria. Okay, and I'm really annoyed about it. And then, New York 1, I don't even think they covered this. Let's see, they covered the shooting in Brownsville a couple days ago. Let's see. There was a shooting a man in the BB gun. I'm not going to get into that. Let's get into this. Detectives seek shooter who murdered woman in Brooklyn. And by the way, Channel 7 mentioned this is a very bad block in East New York. Let's get into it. Cops are looking for the shooter who gunned down a 30-year-old female victim in an industrial area of Brooklyn. So, homicide. The unidentified victim was found shot in the head on the corner of Georgia and Belmont Avenue in East New York at around 8:43 p.m. on October 12th. Officers from the 75 precinct made a discovery while responding to a 911 call about the shooting. EMS rushed the victim to Brookdale University Hospital where she was pronounced dead. Police have withheld the woman's identification pending family notification and due to federal HIPAA laws. So again, they should put that in the article. You can't give out the woman's name because of HIPAA. You know, they don't mention that in any of these articles. At this point in the active probe, police did not provide information about a possible motive or the circumstances that led to the shooting. Law enforcement sources also did not give a preliminary description of the suspect. So obviously, ongoing investigation, no arrest. So there you go. Another suspect that got on the run, and probably another victim of bail reform. So there you go. I mean, again, we should not have to feel intimidated talking about the bail reform law. But you know what happens when you speak up about that? Oh, stop being so sensitive about it. Give me a break. And let's get to the love triangle, because this just broke tonight. I know Channel 7 covered this, which they led right off with the night. I'll give them credit. Off-duty Brooklyn cop allegedly shoots 2 women, killing one of them in an apparent love triangle. So NY1 did cover this, but, you know, because they're not covering what's really going on in Astoria, I don't want to read from them, and I rather would read from AM New York. Let's read this. Charges are pending against an off-duty officer who allegedly shot 2 women, killing one of them in an apparent Brooklyn love triangle on Wednesday afternoon. Law enforcement sources said the unidentified 31-year-old female cop allegedly shot her 23-year-old girlfriend and a 24-year-old woman inside her gal pal's residence in the vicinity of 19th Avenue and 79th Street in Bensonhurst, just before 5 p.m. on October 13th. My God, are you kidding me? Bensonhurst? Bensonhurst. This is a Jewish-Italian area. You gotta be kidding me. Now let's continue. Police officials said the officer calmly confessed outside of the residence to members of the 62nd Precinct after they arrived there in response to several 911 calls. She's now going an evaluation at a local hospital. So, look at this. I mean, this is disturbing. And of course it's domestic. But there you go. Another homicide in Brooklyn. And de Blasio just keeps ignoring it. Police are currently investigating whether the officer's girlfriend and the 24-year-old woman had been in an intimate relationship of their own. So apparently this seems to be and I do apologize if I'm saying something sensitive, but this apparently seems to be a lesbian love triangle. Okay then, but still, a homicide is a homicide. I mean, 2 homicides in Brooklyn within a 24-hour period. I mean, that's kind of alarming. Alright, both victims were rushed to Maimonides Hospital. So, no surprise there. Due to the ongoing investigation, the NYPD is expected to release the name of the female officer involved. So, I want the video on a positive note later on, because there is some news about Rockefeller Center. I'll get to that. Because I do want to get back to Rockefeller Center. I'm just hoping they're going to finish up the construction of the mall. So, let me get to other news we got to get into. Because I'm just telling you, you know, it's really disturbing what's been going on. Really disturbing. Okay, so we have a video of the incident that happened at the Apple Store in Chelsea. So, more details have been released about the October 8th incident. We know that the security guard at the Apple Store in Chelsea was a 37-year-old male security guard. So, apparently we're learning more that a 25-year-old female employee in the store was punched in her face. Oh my goodness. Surveillance videos released by Crime Stoppers claimed that on video, the suspect was seen wearing a ski mask atop his head, quickly went on the attack, smacking the security guard in the face before fleeing the location. So, we know that the incident exactly took place at 6:20 p.m. on the evening of Friday, October 8th. So, afterwards, the MTA released surveillance video of the suspect who entered the nearby 14th Street, 8th Avenue and subway station connecting the A, C, E, and L lines. Okay, so here we go. That's a felony assault right there. And then look, he literally punched the Apple employee. 2 felony assaults this guy is wanted for. You can't make this stuff up. You just can't. Alright, so it says officers from the 10th Precinct did respond to the incident. Later on, we learned more that the security guard suffered a forehead slash wound, a stab wound to his left arm, and 3 stab wounds to his back. The security guard was taken to Bellevue Hospital on the east side of Manhattan where he was treated for his injuries. The female Apple employee refused medical attention for facial pain and swelling. So, again, this guy's wanted for felony assault, and he got away with it. And then let's get to this. I don't think NY1 even covered this. No, I don't think they did. 1 dead after being struck by a drunk driver on the Belt Parkway. So this happened on October 11th. Police said they were called to a crash on the westbound side of Shore Parkway near Erskine Street just after 1 a.m. when a BMW i8 had rear-ended a Honda Pilot in the left lane. A police vehicle was stopped behind the 2 cars with its emergency lights on after the crash when Audrey Edmond, driving at an apparent high rate of speed, crashed her 2019 Nissan Rogue into the back of a police car and struck a 35-year-old Peter Tisi, the driver of the BMW who had stepped out of his vehicle. The force of the collision sent TC over the guardrail and into the eastbound lanes, police said. Emergency responders pronounced him dead at the scene. Officers arrested 35-year-old Audrey Edmond on the scene on charges including vehicular manslaughter and driving while intoxicated. No other injuries were reported as a result of the crash. Highway Collision Investigation Squad is investigating. So, there you go. Another incident on NY1 that should have been covered but wasn't. By the way, I know Erskine Street very well. That's the borderline of where Queens and Brooklyn meet up. The first exit, first and last in the Belt in Brooklyn. There you go. And then let's get to this. Let's watch this video.
Police are searching for the suspects behind a brutal attack and robbery that happened in Brooklyn, and we need to warn you, the video we're about to show you is hard to watch. The good news is the victim will be okay. Video shows one of the suspects knocking a 30-year-old woman to the ground where she slams into a planter.
Oh my God.
That's when the female suspect starts to punch and kick while the victim is on the ground, and the suspect knocked out that woman. The male suspect then stole her purse, cell phones, and jewelry. This happened last Wednesday on Powell Street in Brownsville. The victim treated for injuries to her head and
But NY1 didn't cover this! This was a breaking news story! Unbelievable! Unbelievable! I am so annoyed with this TV station. Right, and then you got more that happened. 2 stories in Corona that got ignored. And then we're going to wrap it up with Laura Uhl. NYPD searched for a suspect in a Corona social club stabbing that happened last weekend. A woman was stabbed near Roosevelt Avenue in Corona Saturday evening, October 9th, and police from the 115th precinct are looking for the man who assaulted her. Just after 1 a.m., the 28-year-old victim was inside a social club at 39-22 108th Street when the suspect approached her and stabbed her in the left side of her stomach before fleeing the scene on foot in an unknown direction. EMS treated the woman to New York Presbyterian Hospital in Flushing for treatment, and she was listed in stable condition. So at least the woman's going to be okay. That's good news. But alright, so it says that there's a surveillance image of a suspect showing him in a dark-colored baseball cap and a white t-shirt with an Aeropostale logo across the chest with an New York City 87 underneath. So, no arrest, ongoing investigation. By the way, I just realized it just showed community board. I was supposed to speak to CB8 tonight, but I forgot to call in because I was dealing with back pain from work and running away from the EDP in Bayside today. I blew up in a separate video. So there you go. Look at him. Good look over there. Good look. My phone on airplane mode. I do apologize. You know, I hate annoying phone calls when I'm in the middle of something. So, let's see. I'm trying to get back to police archives. Another story in Corona that got ignored. Teen truck driver fatally strikes Corona e-bike rider in Long Island City. A 32-year-old Corona man was struck and killed while riding on an e-bike on Honeywell Street, Long Island City on Monday morning, October 11th. Here we go, yeah. Thomas Panto was traveling northbound on a roadway which spans the Sunnyside rail yards at around 7:22 a.m. when he was struck by a 2003 Chevy Silverado pickup truck driven by an 18-year-old that was traveling southbound when it veered into the northbound lane. Police from the 108 precinct in Long Island City responded to a 911 call regarding a motor vehicle collision involving a bicyclist at that intersection of Honeywell Street and Northern Boulevard. Sadly, the victim was taken to Elmhurst Hospital, New York City Health Hospitals, where he was pronounced dead. The 18-year-old driver pickup truck remained on the scene. So at least the good news is this was not a hit and run. And then look at this. Transportation Alternatives blamed the mayor for failing to maintain protected bike lanes. So there you go. Oh, and of course, the Queen's Courier reached out to DOT. Yeah, try reaching out to Nicole Garcia for a statement. She's not going to give you anything. Because she's our local DOT commissioner. So again, another story ignored by New York 1. And then a robbery that happened in Rego Park. Where did this happen? At around 3:15 in the morning on Friday, October 1st, a 27-year-old man was approached by two suspects in the corner of 63rd Drive and Queens Boulevard. Not too far from Queens Center Mall. One of them allegedly pressed a hard object against his body and demanded property. They then forcibly removed an iPhone, AirPods, a fanny pack from the victim before fleeing into the 63rd Drive MR Rego Park subway station. The victim thankfully was not injured. So, we do have a description. One suspect was seen wearing a dark jacket and gray sweatpants and a dark-colored baseball cap, jumping the turnstile in a subway station before opening the gate for a second suspect. He was wearing a white hoodie with a red and black baseball cap. And then look at this, another crime that happened. Look at this. Another felony. Not paying the fare. Not paying your $2.75 to get in the subway. Station agent probably didn't see it. Right by the station agent, see? Right there. And they ignore that. Transit District 20 probably released this video. There you go. Alright, and we actually have more news regarding the incident that happened at LaGuardia Airport last weekend. Yeah, I'm going to look for it right now on Laura Uhl's Facebook. So let me look it up. So I'm going to pull her up right now, and we're going to look her up. Here is... I'm looking for... So I know it was posted today. Oh, and there was a shooting in Kew Gardens that wasn't even covered. I'm going to get to that. Another shooting in Queens Village. And look, so much crime ignored in Queens. So much crime. So let's start from here. Women scared off weird device that looked like caused an emergency at LaGuardia Airport last Saturday, October 9th. So here we go. After further investigation that caused an emergency landing at LaGuardia Airport of a suspicious device, the authorities did release today. Oh, so this was from Tuesday. All right. It turns out the woman who was sitting next to a male passenger reported a suspicious video on his phone along with looking at a suspicious device. The incident forced the plane to make an emergency landing at the airport back on Saturday, October 9th. However, authorities say it turned out the man was just watching videos on how to repair an antique camera and took out an antique camera to try to fix it. Oh. So I hope this woman gets charged for making a false report. You know, she caused panic. She caused a mass panic with the TSA. So I hope this woman is going to be facing federal charges. My goodness. Oh, and then look at this. Man slashed over a coffee thief in Flushing. Police reported a deli worker in Flushing was slashed in the face by a suspect with a razor in Flushing. It happened on Wednesday, October 13th, at a deli on Roosevelt Avenue near Main Street at around 5:45 a.m. The suspect was trying to leave the store with the coffee when a worker confronted to pay. This is when the victim was slashed with a box cutter. Then the suspect took off on foot and later to a Q20 bus. Police apprehended the suspect. The victim was taken to a nearby local hospital. So, at least the suspect was caught. Especially because the precinct is in downtown Flushing. And then look, shooting in Queens Village. Police report a male shot in Queens Village. This is where Charlton D'Souza lives, from Passengers United. Look at that. Another problem in that neighborhood. This is at 104th Avenue and 216th Street. The suspect, male, black, took off on foot. Last seen wearing a blue shirt. EMS working the victim, transport the victim. So, another rough day for the 105 precinct. And then this should have been covered today. I didn't even see anything about this on Channel 7. Police report of multiple shots fired in Kew Gardens in front of Queens Criminal Court on Queens Boulevard. And it's happened literally right by Borough President Donovan Richards' office. Reported 2 males, one black and one Hispanic, took off on foot towards northbound. The black male was wearing a red hoodie, gray puffy vest, black crossbody bag, fled eastbound on Queens Boulevard. The Hispanic male, wearing blue and gray tracksuit, fled westbound. Oh, and then look at this. De Blasio's excuses. I don't even want to read that. I don't even want to get into that. And then look at this. Another story that should have been covered by NY1 on the Queens-Nassau border. Police close off Lakeville Road and Northern State Parkway entrances after a male jumped out of an ambulance. The patient was being transported when he decided to jump out from the back of the ambulance. The patient was last seen running around the vicinity of Long Island Jewish Medical Center. Police are working to apprehend the male. Oh my God. And during rush hour. Oh, and then here's one other stupid thing that happened today. LIE eastbound at the Queens Boulevard exit for Queens Center Mall. Minor accident with 2 SUV drivers caused 2 lanes to be blocked. The traffic was backed up all the way from Midtown Tunnel. So, because of NYPD funding that was cut. Wait for the police to show up for non-injury related accidents takes longer amount of time. So there you go. And here's a smart comment. Move your vehicles to the shoulder so people can get home. That's kind of funny. Okay, and lastly, another important story that got ignored in Midtown. Details regarding the opening of the ice rink at Rockefeller Center. So let's read this, because this is a very important story that should have been covered by NY1. A community affairs story. This isn't crime, but, this is a big deal. Today, Rockefeller Center officially announced that the ice skating rink will open on Saturday, November 6th. So it looks like this is where I'm going to be spending my birthday, most likely. I mean, I'm not going to go on the rink. I just like watching the people skate. So here we go. The hours of operation will be from 9 a.m. until midnight daily. Admission prices will vary, and prices will be between $20 to $54. However, if you want free ice skating, you can go to Bryant Park. That's always free. So, just a heads up. So let's see. Let's see if they have a calendar. I'm just curious. Okay, so they don't have a they don't have any information, but there you go. A very important community affair event. I mean, a lot of people care when Rockefeller Center is going to open the ice skating rink. I certainly care. That impacts our lives. Well, that's going to wrap it up. I mean, I'm so annoyed with this TV station. I mean, Spectrum, time and time again, just doesn't care about their viewers. And, I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it. And, I would really hope that we continue to keep talking about this, because a lot has got to be discussed about this TV station. They're just like News 12. So, that wraps it up. Thank you for watching.